What's up, YouTube? Welcome to my humble abode. Today we've got something exciting. So we're going to be shooting a podcast, but we're going to be shooting on the vlog. So it's going to be available on audio, on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, but it's also going to be available for you guys on YouTube. A vlogcast, I think that's what it's called. Is that what it's called? We'll call it a vlogcast. Here's what I'm saying. It's a beautiful hot day, so we're going to go inside with the aircon. So we've got the boys here from the Key Journal. So we're going to be having a good conversation with those guys. Good friends of mine as well, so we're going to have a lot of fun. So without further ado, let's go check it out.
I got him already. I got him.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Abbey Khan Show and to the Abbey Khan Casting Couch. We have two very special guests who are used to this kind of format, but with just less clothes. We have Rachel Briggs and Nick Newman from the Key Journal.
Thank you for having us, mate.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here on this lovely day. We have got our podcast live. Obviously, you guys listen to our podcast on all streaming platforms, but you are also on YouTube. So, guys, can you give the YouTube people a big wave for me? There we go.
Thank you for watching.
So, for those of you out there who may not have heard of the Key Journal, you're going to have your minds blown. This is literally one of the greatest products I've seen. It's something that we all use, kind of, but in a very random, unsort of scripted way. So we're going to get into what the actual products are. But guys, just for the people who may not know who you are, can you just give us a little bit of context on who the Key Journal is?
Fire away, big fella. Come on.
My name's Nick. I'm a Central Coast lad. Grew up, born and bred here. Outside of the Key Journal, I work for a company called Steinbock Brands. We're a liquor manufacturer. I've been with them for 3 years. Currently acting as the operations manager. And in September last year, became the youngest director of the company, which is something I'm proud of, and I'm excited for the future of that. But
first and foremost, big round of applause on that. That's fucking amazing.
Thanks,
I hope
boys.
they're clapping as well.
And then, yes, the Key Journal was a bit of a side project that I had in mind for probably the back end of 2019. 2019, and then I actually met Mitchell in the start of 2020, and it's a funny story actually, because we're both thinking the same thing, bringing a product to market in regards to a journal, both self-development and fitness, because that's what we're both passionate about. And 8 months later we released the product, and since then we've sold over 300 journals, and we've got another load coming in hopefully next week, and it's been an exciting journey, and I think there's going to be a big future in it as well. So that's a bit about me. Now your turn, Mitchell.
I think Nick wrapped it up pretty well there about the journal, but a little bit about me. My name's Mitchell Briggs. I work as a personal trainer on the Central Coast. I also operate a men's health group on the coast as well with two other buddies of mine. So when I had, I guess, my idea of the journal at the time, and then Nick came to me with his idea, it kind of morphed beautifully into the products, plural, that we now have, because it fit exactly what we're about. It's been a sick journey so far, to be completely honest, and it's been an accumulation of these different ideas that we've had and been able to put into practice in our own lives and now in other people's lives. So yeah, it's been really cool, really cool.
For those of you who are watching on YouTube, you've probably seen Mitch before in a preus vlog where we train in his sex dungeon. So if you've not already seen that, please go check it out. And for those of you listening to the podcast, please definitely go check that out.
It's not a sex dungeon.
Don't check out his sex dungeon. Definitely
We'll let you figure it out for yourselves.
Yeah.
So what is the product? So can you tell me specifically, we've got two separate products. What are they?
Yeah.
You want to break down the key?
Yeah, so our first product is the Key Journal. It's a daily self-development tool is how we've branded it. It includes like goal setting, so it's a 90-day block, which includes goal setting broken down into particular categories. It goes through your mindfulness practices like gratitude, priority tasks, exercise, and all that. It's sort of like a daily journal that allows you to schedule and everything, but it's an all-in-one. And there was nothing on the market that we could find, and they're practices that I'd been doing for the last year, and I was handwriting them every day. Today I'm grateful for this. Today I'm excited for this. Today my priority task to this. And it gets to the point you do that 365 days of the year, you think, geez, can someone just print it? Turns out we were the ones to do it. So there's also a whole heap of other things involved, like daily self-reflection. So you're keeping yourself, like holding yourself accountable and just really checking in with where you're at with your progress to unlock your true potential, which is what we're all about here. So that's the key journal. And the other one is the key to your fitness journal. And Mitchell can break that one down.
Yeah. So coming back to when we first met up and had these ideas, we did want to make obviously personal development the basis of what we're about at the Key Journal, but fitness and exercise and health being obviously such a massive part of our lives, we needed to integrate that in there somewhere as well. So we then came up with the idea of, hey, why not release another product, being the Key to Your Fitness Journal. So this one, it's really cool. It's how I structure my programming for myself and my clients, simplified, put down into a paperback form. So essentially you've got your workout planner there that you can actually plan that session before you go into the gym. There's also a nutrition side of things as well. So as you open up, if you check out some photos, you'll see this as well. You open up and you've got your left side, which is all your nutrition covered. So you can actually write in what meals you've had for that day, your macro counts, your calorie counts. You've got reviews at the end of the day, at the end of your workouts as well. Simple reviews just to give yourself, pretty clear feedback on how that session went, things that you could have done better. Also at the start of the both journals, there's a full breakdown on how to use them and how to get the most out of them. Weekly reviews at the back end of each week, and as well as 90-day reviews to wrap up using that actual journal before moving into that next one. So, yeah, pretty much it.
So what I love about this, boys, and I commend you so much for creating something like this, because as you said there, Nick, you write these things every day, and as self-development is so important to most people at the moment, where we're trying to figure out, okay, well, and I've had it before in my class, well, what do I write? Yeah, I get reflection, and I get, okay, I've got to be great, but what am I actually meant to write down? Where you boys have been able to come at that and go, cool, here's the blueprint. Here's exactly what you're meant. Here are the questions you're supposed to be answering. In order to get those answers, that's what you can apply to your life, whether it's I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for health, I'm grateful for well-being, grateful for my career, wherever that might be. And then those are the things you're able to focus on throughout the day-to-day. And it also sort of solves the problem of, as we know, Mitch, predominantly being coaches, is that where I think people are lost is, okay, they go in the gym, they train, they go and they eat specific food, like, but what are the measurable metrics? Like, how are you able to look back and see where you've come from? How are you able to plan the next 12 weeks, the next 90 days of your journey? Yeah. And if you don't have that written down, you're just basically guessing. Because if we're not assessing, we're guessing, right? So what I'm interested in is from a PT's perspective, how have you found it with incorporating this with your clients and the structures that you have with your clients, from them starting with you and maybe going, oh yeah, no, I'm just hitting some workouts. I might do a couple of classes a week. I might do a yoga class here. I might go for a walk on the beach, a couple of resistance-based workouts. How have you found that sort of fluffiness, for lack of a better word, and then you creating them structure? What was that difference in their I guess their attitude and their results?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the main thing that allowed me to do and for that client to see is progression, which, as we know, if we're not continually providing a greater stimulus to the body than that previous week or that previous session, we're going to plateau at some point. So yeah, for me and for that person, they're really able to use that workout planner, and I'll get to the nutrition in a second, but as that solid basis of planning their workout, and when they hit that session the following week, looking back and having those numbers there, not fluffing around in the gym, walking in and like, I might do a bit of this today, I might do a bit of that, actually engaging in an exercise that's going to benefit them, and then progressively overloading on that exercise the following week to get better. The same thing with their nutrition is, people might not even use the macro side of things, and that's so fine. But if you can just track your meals and what you're eating at the back end of that week, they're like, hey, Mitch, I feel really good. You have a look back at what you've been consuming, and it's like whole nutritious foods, those 3 to 5 meals a day. If that's working for you, let's keep continuing that. you know? So yeah, I think the best thing I've seen from it, and for myself as well, is just accuracy and having a really good gauge on what you're doing, and better in that following week.
I think it's like the ultimate accountability tool, right?
Yeah.
Like you're able to go and sorry to stop there, Nick, but
Nick.
it's fucking hell, Nick. God damn it!
He's got a really good point.
It's
You should take him out, yeah, too.
excuse me, sir. Put your paddle up. You're able to plan the week ahead, or plan obviously the goal settings, which we'll get into in a second. I'm going to ask you a question in a second, Nick, but it's essentially preparing yourself for success rather than sort of guessing. Again, going back to if you're not assessing, you're guessing. If someone wants long-term, sustainable, achievable results, we have to get things down on paper. You're not going to remember everything. Remember Richard Branson saying one of the most valuable things he does is carry a notebook everywhere with him, because you're not going to remember everything, no matter your intentions, right? There's lots of things. We can only sort of absorb 7 bytes of information per second, sort of per day, right? So with this being an accountability tool, it also allows you to go back and go, okay, well, I've been doing this for 6 weeks. Now let's see how far I've come. And you look back and go, fuck, I've not got anywhere with this. I've not done a good job of this. And they can bring it to somebody. They can bring it to whether it's a coach or someone who's got a little bit more experience. Go, here's what I've been doing. There's a discrepancy. Something's broken here. And I think a lot of it does, especially the beginning phase, starts with the mind, right? Creating the right mindset and the right framework. And that's what I want to ask you is how beneficial do you think this can be from people starting out with the 90-day goal setting?
Yeah, so what we've done with our goal setting in the Key Journal is we've broken it down to health and exercise, relationships, or family and relationships, personal goals, and financial goals. So there are 4 pillars for our 90-day goals. But the biggest thing I find, and I know Mitchell's very big on it as well, is we've got a block next to it where you can write why you're writing that goal. So it might be to become, for an example, for a health and exercise goal, might be to run a half marathon or run 10K. Why? Well, have you ever done it before? Like, no. To strengthen the mind, strengthen your body. So, and I feel as though any goal that you set and you have a real strong why, it leads into the next part of our, like a daily practice we have in our journal, which is called our Daily 5. So we have 5 tasks that align straight with your goals. So little mini steps that you can take towards. So a personal goal might be to read 10 books. So what can you do that day in your Daily 5 to achieve that? Read 10 pages. Like like I think having 90-day goals broken down into particular like categories,
simple steps
with a why, and then the opportunity to take small, simple steps to achieve those goals. It's very beneficial for me, and we've seen it with people getting back to us with feedback with the journals. It's helping them as well.
Yeah, it's so well and good to have a goal in place. Justifying it and having a strong reason as to why you want to achieve that is going to get you to that point. Writing the goal down, there's a very slim chance to just writing that down is going to get you there. Of course, actionable steps are a massive part of that, and that's why that introduction of the Daily 5 section is really sick, because sick. Sick. So sick.
You sound gangster.
Yeah, sorry. I should have been more professional there. Sorry. Is really effective.
Zero professional. I mean, before it, you were saying
that's why we fit so well.
With your pants off.
yeah, sorry. The pants are staying on. But yeah, the Daily 5 it's super effective because it allows you to look back at the goal that you've put down, your strong reason as to why, and then rather than just looking at this massive goal of like, shit, 10Ks is far. Like, I can't do 10Ks. But in that Daily 5, hey, today I'm going to nail 1.5Ks. I'm going to nail 2Ks. And then you can overload on that as you move forward. So yeah, having that justification as to why you're doing something, we've found is probably almost as important as the goal itself.
Yeah, exactly. Just having that daily checklist to work towards that goal.
The why is essentially the fundamental reason you're doing what you're doing, right? Like it's like the old saying is like you need to be incredibly passionate about what you do, because things at some point are going to get really hard. You know, you want to lose 20 kilos. That first kilo, 2, 3, 4 isn't that difficult to do. When you start to look at 7 to 11 kilos, start to get hard. The last 5 are going to be extremely difficult. So what I love about what you boys have done is that putting that fundamental, that pillar in there, saying why are you actually doing this? And it might be okay, I want to run a half marathon. Okay, why is that important to you? Because I want to set a good example for my children.
Yeah.
Like, that's powerful as fuck.
Exactly.
Like,
And
that's the reason.
And when people, like, when it gets tough, that's what they go back to. And the biggest thing, it's all in the one journal. It's not like they're going to look for their goals they set on their phone or they have it on a different piece of paper somewhere that they probably lose. It's all in the one journal. It's 10 pages back that way or 90 pages back that way. It's all there. So it's what we've created is an all-in-one self-development tool and an all-in-one fitness tool. That's all there for you. And pen and paper doesn't lie.
Yes.
Like,
yeah,
you
100%.
can't. I guess you could probably rip out pages, but why would you waste your money?
Well,
It's a great product. You're not ripping pages out of this.
100%. So talk to me a little bit about goal setting, but talk to me a little bit about I'm interested in the daily 5. What I actually love before I go on that is how you've gone into like relationships too. Relationships are, for me, it's where we spend, outside of our careers and work, that's where we spend most of our time. We spend it with our significant other. And that could be relationships with your family, with your friends as well, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And there's a big problem. It's not a problem with me personally, but I've seen it happen previously, is when people get into self-development, they shut off the rest of the world. They shut off their family, they shut off their girlfriend, like their friends and stuff like that, because they're working on themselves. But to become the best version of yourself, my personal opinion is you need to hang around people that drive you, that motivate you to be the best version of yourself.
And you are the average of the 5 people you spend
and
most time
that's
with.
the old cliche with it, and I believe it's true. So having that family and relationships goal in there is massive for me.
What there's something that I always personally sort of say is like, I don't want to sit at the top of the mountain at the end of my journey alone. You know, I want to sit around a campfire, roasting marshmallow. Don't you steal my say. I want to sit around a campfire, roasting.
I told you that.
I mean, roasting marshmallows and just telling, as human beings, our primal sort of need to communicate is storytelling. I want to be able to tell those stories and share those memories with other people. I mean, if you talk with anyone that's traveled the world by themselves and say, it was great, but there's always a but. I wish I had somebody to share that with. And it's the same thing with your life, guys. Like, you sharing your life with the people that you love the most, you have the most trust and respect for, profoundly impacts the positive energy that you emit from your own life.
100%.
Right? It's just way better coming at the end of your day and saying, I got a pay rise, or I just hit a new best on my 5K run. You know, all these little things are super, super cool on their own, but if you don't have anyone to share them with, they're a little bit lackluster. They're a little bit like, yeah, it was cool, but they could have been better. Sharing it with others is that better.
100%.
You know? So we've gone through the sort of the daily 5. So what would you suggest? Someone sets the targets of like, here's my 90-day goal. Here's my daily 5. They're in 10, 11 days into it, and they start fucking up. They start resenting, like, oh shit, I can't get a grasp of this. I said that I was going to read, let's go back to the book example, 10 pages, and I didn't do it.
Well, that's the thing. It's a day-to-day tool, and with the self-reflection, it's like the questions are 3 things that I did well today, 1 struggle that I faced, and like, what can I do tomorrow to improve? So, for instance, if your goal is to read 10 pages a day and you miss that target, you've got the opportunity at the end of the day to go back and go, shit, I didn't hit that 10-page target. What can I do to improve tomorrow? Well, get up early and read, or just block out a bit of time to read. Like, so there's little accountability measures within the self-reflection that holds you accountable. And like, I guess there is going to be tough times. You're not going to hit your daily 5 every single day, but knowing that tomorrow's coming and it's all there, the format's there for you to then execute on it. It's just
and be okay with, like, if you don't hit those micro goals, it's fine. It's okay. Like, don't beat yourself up about it. Readjust if you need to. Like, I've set goals for myself. You know, reading's actually one of them. I was like, the back end of last year, or like the last 4 months a year, I was like, yeah, I could do 1 book a week. Fuck. Do you know how hard that is? Do you know how hard that is? And I got through, like, I think it was like the first couple weeks, and I was still working on this 1 book, and I was just like, well, fuck, what I've set for myself here, for me personally, isn't achievable, and that's okay. It's so fun. So I just went back and I just readjusted that time frame, you know? Because there was times where I was like looking at the back end of the day, it was like, what could I do to improve tomorrow? It was like, you know, I could nail, let's just say, like 5 to 10 pages. don't try and put that pressure on myself to try and smash like 20 to 25 pages in that day. Yeah.
And I want to come back to that unrealistic or the unrealism. But I think what you boys have actually done as well, and I don't know if there's a conscious or subconscious ways we've taken into account the stress response of looking at what we call our allostatic load. And our allostatic load is essentially the accumulation of all the stresses that we take on a day-to-day basis. That comes with relationships, with recovery, with training, with, you know, somebody cutting you off in traffic, you want to get out of the car and beat the shit out of them. Like, it takes into account everything. And where people go wrong is they try and take their allostatic load. Imagine you have 100 points to use throughout your day. You've got those 100 points are your match. You can't put any more into that, and you break that up with, you know, 20 points to relationships, 10 points to food, whatever it sort of might be. People try and push those boundaries and go, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try and take 80 points and put them into my training, and then I'm going to try and take 20 points and put them into my nutrition. But they forget finances. They forget relationships. And you're like, cool, you've only got 100 points, and you're trying to really push those sort of boundaries here. Of course, you're going to fucking fail at some point, you know? So what you boys done is gone, okay, well, if we take up all those 100 points, how do we put them into a day-to-day practice that's going to allow us to make progress in each of these areas every single day? And we know the accumulation of those small, simple steps will accumulate to big successes.
Yeah. And we've tried to do it as like simplified as possible. So there's a lot of open space for the user to sort of execute it in the way that they would like to. Like how I use the journal might be different to how you use the journal.
Independent.
And like my daily 5 might be different to how like your daily 5 because it's all based on your goals. So, but the format's there, the structure's there for the person to really just tailor it to themselves.
Their own.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. And obviously, guys, just listen, you can't see it, but guys on YouTube, you got a decent view of it there, so we can get a nice little close up there. Will be amazing. What you'll see if you go to the boys' website, all the links and everything will be below. But you've been able to take something like this and mold it to yourself and essentially use it in your own way. Gives you that power, I guess. Essentially, it gives you this sense of self-empowerment and being able to go, I can take all these skills and these tools and I can use them in my own way and make them practical to my own life. I want to go back to unrealistic goals, Mitch. I liked what you said there was, people generally fail because they set their goals too high. Like, people generally over sort of anticipate what they can achieve in 1 year, but don't. There's a quote here that I'm butchering.
I think
like hell.
People overestimate what they can do in a year.
But
But
not
they underestimate what they can get done in a day or something.
Yeah,
Something like
people
that.
overestimate what they can do in 12 months, but they underestimate what they can do in 10 years. Is pretty much the quote. And I think Bill Gates said that, and essentially that's right. People look at where they are now and go, I want to achieve the most astronomical thing in the world right fucking now. And we know in the health and fitness industry, right? That's what people do. I want to lose 20 kilos right now. You're like, hold on a second. You spent 20 years getting to this point. Like, it ain't going to be achievable over the next 10 days, but over the 90 days, we know it takes around 66 days to be able to build a new habit. So with this 90-day target, you're able to go, it's going to take me a decent enough amount of time, but accumulatively, day by day, I've got these small focuses. By the time it gets to that 60, 70 days, wherever it is going to be for you guys, you start to instill this new behavior. You start to instill this new habit, so by virtue of things become autonomous, it becomes much easier. You know, when you first start tracking macros, I don't know if you remember that. I remember it took me ages to get around. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Why is it so hard to eat food? But then over time, it just got easier and easier and easier. Now, like, okay, I can do it pretty much without even looking at a metric tracking out like MyFitnessPal. But so going back to unrealistic goals, what do you advise for people that may be thinking that way? For both of you, we'll start with you, Mitch, and then we'll come to you, Nick, for the I guess the mindset is Mitch. Sorry, from a training nutrition perspective and goals in that realm, people listening to this, you know, maybe want to drop a little bit of body weight. Say they want to drop 10 kilos. Like, I want to lose 10 kilos now, and then they don't, and then they fail. So, what do you advise they do to start with to prevent all that sort of shit happening?
I think number one, firstly, be realistic. Find out what is achievable for you, depending on what that goal is, what sort of time frame that you are working with, how you're going to go about that to actually get to that point. So, yeah, I think number one would be realistic, make it achievable, and gain guidance from someone else if you do need external assistance. You know, like personal example, being a PT, that's where people can come to me in regards to, you know, I want to lose this amount of weight in this time, or I want to gain this much muscle mass in this time. And then we can sit down and actually go through what sort of time frame that you're working with, and making sure that we're not shooting for the stars. You know, it is one brick at a time, like one step at a time. It's a saying that a lot of people throw out there, but you have to be super realistic with what you're doing and how you're getting there.
Journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Yeah, seriously. Seriously. Building blocks. We're just building blocks. Yeah.
So same sort of thing with setting goals. Initially, that 90 days, Nick, how do you think, or how do you advise people start with that? Because again, like 90 days for some people might seem unfathomable. It's just like, fucking hell, that's miles away. Like, how am I meant to create something that's so far away?
Well, that's funny you say that, because I set goals for 10 years, a year, 90 days, and then that's where the daily 5 comes into it as well, because that holds you accountable daily. So I'll give you a bit of an insight into what I do. So I've got a thing called my vision board, 10 years, 10 visions. It's got 10 visions of where I see myself being in 10 years, photos all around it and stuff like that. And as funny as it sounds, I read this in a John Assaraf book. I think it was, I can't remember the actual title of the book, but he calls it brushing and priming. So every morning and night I brush my teeth, I'm looking at the vision board and I'm just visualizing in my head myself living that life that's on that board. And then that then comes back to my yearly goals and the reason why I'm achieving them. So I don't really want to dive too much of what's on my vision board, but my yearly goals.
Share with us to give people an example, because some people don't. Like, if you've seen, like, some people on the podcast and they've usually seen a little bit of mine. But yeah, share with me what's on yours.
Well, one of the visions on my board at the moment is to have a national presence in bars and the 2 major retailers with the Steinbock brand. So that's a 10-year vision. So I then break that down into my 12-month vision. So we need to execute on our range review with these major retailers. So that's a 12-month goal, and then I break it down to the 90-month goal. So what can I do within that 90 month? Not 90 months. 90-day goal. So what can I do within the 90 days that I've got coming up that'll help me achieve that 12-month goal and then that 10-year vision? So it might be little things like just taking like little data from our sales and stuff like that, and not just worrying about the end result, just working daily to get that, to execute it, sort of thing, and then that'll come back to the daily 5. So, like, that's probably a bad example, that one itself, but there's plenty on there. Like, there's
I like it.
Another one I can give an example of is to hold a close relationship with people who motivate me. So, like, people like Mitchell and stuff.
Have you got a picture of Mitchell?
I don't have a picture of Mitchell on my wall. I think Amy would be
I'm not saying it.
Amy, my girlfriend, would be a bit jealous if she was on the vision board, and she's not on there yet. So.
Dirty beard that I have in our key journal photo shoot.
But I think, like, the biggest advice I could give for goals, I'm no expert, is to just check in with them regularly. So, like, I check in with my 10-year visions twice a day when I brush my teeth. I'll read my 90-day goals almost probably 3 times a week when I do my morning setup with my journal, and I'll check in with my yearly goals probably once a week and just see how I'm tracking. And be honest with yourself, because, like, that's who you're doing it for. You're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for anyone else. Like, you don't set goals to go and tell your mates or brag about, oh, look what I achieved. You're doing it for yourself. Like, so that's what you just got to keep in mind, is why you're doing it and who you're doing it for.
What I love there is the honesty aspect, and it talks and speaks a lot to, I guess, every sort of industry, but especially the health and fitness one. And if we're looking at fat loss goals, a typical example, the amount of people that just lie to themselves and that they're only affecting their own outcome, you know? Whereas if you're just completely honest, say, yeah, I did have 3 donuts. Yeah, you know, I do eat the peanut butter off the spoon when I'm making my kids peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, you know. I didn't actually hit my 10,000 steps this week or this day or whatever it's going to be. And if you're just really honest with yourself, you'd be able to look back again, capturing the data in the key journal and going, you know what, I didn't do as well this week. I should have probably, done X, Y, and Z a little bit better, and I can do X, Y, and we're going to reflect in a second. I think that's a super important concept too. But if you're just really honest with yourself, you prevent the anxiety of going, oh fuck, I've got weigh-in today. I've got my check-in with my coach today. I've got a weigh-in check-in with myself today. I know that number's not going to be good. And you know that because you just lied to yourself. Because you've been like, oh no, I've been really, really good this week. But you're afraid to go and do it. And you're like, why are you afraid? Because you've just been lying to yourself. Whereas you're super open and honest, but yeah, I did fuck up. Yeah, I didn't do what I was supposed to. Okay, great. Accept it, take it on the chin, move the fuck on.
Learn from it.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to go back to where we were before when you said when goals get tough and when the daily 5 gets tough. It's just come to me then is think back to where you were 6 months ago or 12 months ago and see how far you've come. And if that doesn't motivate you, like...
Change your why.
Yeah, change your why. Exactly right. That's a good option. Because once you realise how far you've come, it motivates you to go further.
Yeah. And I think that's where people get lost, right?
Yeah,
They're
100%.
like, they forget about, and that's where reflections is
Reflections
super
are very
important. Like, well, where have I come from? Because 12 months ago, I was a completely different person from where I am now.
Exactly.
100%.
So when we're looking at, reflection, I want to know what you boys think your own definition of reflection is. I want to start with you, Nick.
Definition of reflection would be, I guess, the progress that you've made as a person, and really realizing your wins and your losses, and that leads to your improvements that you need to make and stuff like that. It's sort of, again, accountability, but self-reflection's only really truly yours. Like it's and how critical on yourself you are is how much you'll progress, I guess.
How do you self-reflect?
Well, I go based off the questions in the key journal and the key to your fitness journal as well for the health and fitness side of it. But it's daily 3 things that I did well today. So you're really positive with yourself. Like I hit my daily 5 might be one. I didn't lose my shit in traffic and want to get out and punch someone like you said before.
Stoic.
Look, Marcus Aurelius would have got off his horse and drop kicked some motherfuckers in his time, I'm sure.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, so that sort of thing. So you can't just be heaps negative on yourself all the time. So what we've done with the structure of it, it's 3 positive things that you did well that day. And then we've got 1 thing that you could have handled better that day. So you're not going to be 100% on your game every day. So I might have ate a donut. Guilty. And then
this morning.
Mitchell this morning.
2 of them.
Before the gym. Yeah. And then the biggest one for me is what can I do to improve tomorrow? Because that then puts you, it's a bit weird, but if you've got something you need to improve on, you go to bed wanting to wake up and do better. That's me. But not
Especially
everyone's
when you've identified that.
Yeah, you identified that. That's the biggest thing is identifying where you've made mistakes and then taking into the next day with the goal of being better than what you were yesterday. And that's, I live massive quote of it's not my quote, but I live my life by is do as today, that will make you better tomorrow. And that's where it sort of aligns with the journal as well, because things you improve on. And then we've also got a section for other comments, or I think it's other emotions, other feelings and emotions from the day. So if you just want to write about your day, it's there. And it's a Brendan Bouchard thing, but it's did I live today? Did I love today? Did I matter today? So they're the 3 that I've been asking myself lately in that self-reflection as well. So did I live my life to its fullest potential today? Yes. Did I love today? Did I turn up for people that needed my love? And did I matter? Would have these people around me not suffered, but not been able to achieve what they needed to achieve without me? Because it's put you in a nice, it's not ego boosting, but it's positive, because that's how you want to live your life. You want to be positive. Yeah, empowerment. Yeah. So that's how the self-reflection in the key journal that's how I use it.
We'll get to you in a second, Mitch, but what I love about what you said there, Nick, was you want to jump out of bed like the next, and that's how you should feel. And this goes back to your why. If your why is powerful enough, you want to get the fuck out of bed and just go. When people in the morning are I'm struggling to get up, I'm not really motivated, well, why are you even getting out of bed today? Because if it's to go to a shitty job and do something you don't like, you ain't going to be jumping out of bed, you know? But if you find something, and as crazy it is, the more powerful that is, you will want to leap out of bed and go and do everything you can to go and do that particular job or follow whatever pursuit you want in life. But you'll also want to do it to the best of your ability. So you feel you matter because you're actually putting effort into that.
Yeah. We put a quote up the other day on the page. It was, success should be defined by how you wake up in the morning. And I could not agree with that anymore. Like, you could have all the money in the world, all the cars, the helicopters, everything else like that. But unless you want to get up out of bed and enjoy that, like, what are you doing it for?
It's interesting, right? A lot of people, when they're at the beginning of their journey, that's what they want. You want all the materials, all the fancy things. Yeah. But if we only have to look at the success of others and go, okay, well, if the people at the top of the game, looking like you know, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, all these people that have got an astronomical wealth, not one of those people talk about the wealth. No. Not one of those people talk about how much money they've got. They don't give a flying fuck. They don't talk about the cars, the houses. They don't care about any of that. They care about purpose. Yeah. They care about passion. Like, what am I doing today to make the world a better place?
Yeah, and what's their next step of the journey?
Exactly. And that's all they give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, Elon Musk wants to take humanity to Mars.
Yeah.
How insane is that?
That's funny.
The coolest thing in the world.
I'm reading his book at the moment, and he got I think when he sold PayPal to eBay, he got 110 million, and he invested all of that money and was like 24 hours off going broke.
Yeah. They... Did you see when he SpaceX as well? Like, he was about to go completely bankrupt, and it was literally Christmas Eve on whatever year it was that NASA called him and went, "Yes, we're going to fund it." He was going to have no money because he put it into Solar City and to SpaceX. He had, and Tesla was there. Yeah. He had nothing, absolutely nothing. Family was about to go completely broke, and he didn't care. He just had belief and faith in what he was doing, and boom, something happened.
And people like that, that's why they're successful, because, like, in my opinion, they're doing, like like you said before, the things that are going to make the world a better place.
And that's it. It's not out of malice. It's not out, I'm going to do it because I'm better than this person. I'm going to do it because people are going to remember my name. They don't care. They're like, what am I here to do? And how do I make my life and other people? Well, first and foremost, how do I make other lives and humanity better? And by doing that, you'll ultimately make your life better. If you want more love, give love. You know, if you want more money, give money. If you want more positivity, give out positivity. You know? 100%. So, going to you. So, what is your definition of reflection?
I think for me, it's an opportunity to gain clarity and empowerment as well. The sort of questions that we pose in the back end of the day there in the key journal are ones that obviously Nick touched on, but making sure that you're giving yourself credit where credit's due. So, you know, there's 3 things that I did well today, things that I'm proud of, you know. Start that on the front foot. Probably the best part, or the 2 parts that I probably love the most, is identifying one thing that I could have handled better for that day, and not beating yourself up for that thing, because it leads into that next question of, like, what can I do tomorrow to improve, right, to be better? And as Nick said, you know, you can then go to bed in a position of on the front foot that next day, wanting to get up and wanting to be a bit better in that area. You know, like, if I might have been a bit more reactive than what I would have liked with, say, my sibling or my parents or someone, you know, out on the street that cut me off in a car, I can identify that and associate myself with that thing in a positive way, rather than, say, if I go to bed and I don't do my self-reflection for that day, be it in the journal, be it however you like to do your self-reflection. If you're not giving yourself an opportunity to identify what you could do better, you might be going to bed with the shits about that thing still. So putting pen to paper, for me, at the back end of the day is super important. I like to do it just before I go to bed. So everything that I've put down there, definitely those 3 things that I really loved about myself for that day, I think that is super important, having some level of empowerment there. But then, you know, being okay with maybe fucking up in areas a little bit. That's where you swear so much, so.
How dare you?
I just realised I was the first F-bomb. I'm sorry.
Who you represent.
Yeah, sorry. proper. But yeah, that, I think for me, mainly, self-reflection it's a great opportunity to gain clarity. We can be so muddled, you know, with so much stuff going on. Giving yourself an opportunity to just, you know, gain how that day was, get a really strong idea of how that day was, and empower yourself. Give yourself some goddamn credit. I think everyone's pretty bloody hard on ourselves, to be completely honest. So
And with clarity, like you just touched on there, Mitchell, with having that journal, using it in the morning also creates clarity. Because you go through it and you set 100%. Up your day, you set your priority task and you schedule your day.
The scheduling, it's so big. It's so massive. Big. It's not like, probably one thing that we love the most about the scheduling is that, not so much for me, but maybe for Nick, because he's a bit of an early riser, it'll start from 5 a.m. So we struggled to find a journal that fitted well with that time schedule. But that's like how I use the journal. So I'll wake up first thing in the morning. So I'll do my scheduling before I do my affirmations, before I do my gratitudes, the things that I'm excited for, because I want a really, really strong idea of that day that's coming up, obviously being early in the morning, of what I've got going on. So I know that, 9 a.m. through to 12, I've got PTs. At 1 p.m., I'm going to train. I'm going to take some me time. After that, I might have a meeting on and then PTs in the Arvo. But having such strong clarity makes you dominate your day. You don't get fucked around in your day. That's what I've found. Probably the biggest thing.
When we, what I love that actually is talking about reflection, is it also allows you to empty the monkey mind. The things that are going on when you're trying to go to bed and you're trying to think about all the shit that you might have been pissed off about the day, things that make you angry, the things that you need to do tomorrow. Reflecting on that allows that almost that escapism of your mind. It's like it's out of there, it's on paper, so you can now forget about it, and you can get into this relaxed parasympathetic state where you can go, cool, everything I've just been thinking about is on this piece of paper. I'm planned out. My 90-day goal's there. I know exactly what I need to do tomorrow to get to that stage.
Have you freehand journaled before? Just wrote whatever the hell's in your head?
I am strangely enough, so I talk to myself a lot. Like, it's the only way of intelligent conversation.
I'll never picture that, man.
Yeah. Like, this is weird, right? So I've never told anyone this. But like, I don't listen to the radio or anything. I talk to myself constantly. So issues, problems, visions, talking about like where I want to be, where I am, reflection, things like that. So I do it I don't need to write it down as much. I need to write some of it down, but I talk a lot of it to myself. And we're talking about like honesty and truth and things like that. I ask myself the questions, and I think it's important because the generally the answers in which we seek come from the quality of the questions that we ask. And you're the person that will only know the answer to the question, right? Whether we need to do the research and read a book because we don't have the capacity, the mental capacity or the knowledge to be able to get there yet. But for, I think, a lot of things, we sort of do. And it's only by being really honest with ourselves and going, why am I feeling this way? I'm feeling a bit anxious, depressed, angry. Why am I feeling this way? And you've got to be honest with yourself enough to go, oh shit, that's something that I fucking did.
Yeah.
That's my bad. Like, I need to apologize. I need to be better. I need to potentially show more love to that person that I see genuinely a few times a week that I may not know their name. And the easy way to overcome that is like, I was a bit snappy with them. It's like, I'm going to go and ask them what their name is and ask them about them and show a little bit of love towards them. Positivity instills positivity. You've over sort of come that little evil there.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I've done like video instead of freehand journaling, which if you haven't tried it, try it. It's really cool. Also, it's just like whatever's in your head, just let it out. But yeah, I've like videoed myself before.
That's weird.
Yeah.
What were you doing in the video?
Yeah. What were you doing, and where can we sign up to your OnlyFans page?
Pants were on, clothes were on. But yeah, just setting up my camera and literally whatever. And this was more in a time when I was struggling a lot more than what I am now, and I didn't have much control over my life, and emotions would get the better of me. And obviously, this is another reason, a massive spark for like why we wanted to do something like this, because at a time it was something that I needed big time. But yeah, the video one's cool as well. It's kind of funny, like watching yourself back though. You're like,
I think what you've touched on there is incredibly powerful, and it's something that I read about a long time ago now. And essentially it was empowering yourself through your own actions. And it was, same thing talking about reflection. It was like speaking your truth to it was a little bit about reflection, but it was more so speaking your truth out there and recording yourself saying it and then looking back at yourself saying it. as you sort of said earlier, Nick, it was relating to like pen and paper don't lie. It was the same thing.
Yeah.
Like the footage, the visuals there, it doesn't lie. So if you feel you're a bad person, you feel you could do better in your relationship, actually saying it out there and then looking back at yourself is strange, but it's incredibly powerful as well. And what I love about this is that you've got feelings and emotions in there, and that is everything that we do. You know, we are a result of our emotions, of how we feel, and what energy, whether you're into the universal spiritual thing or not, the energy that we put out there is the energy that we get back. And it's only through, I think, overcoming a lot of our issues, whether talking about anxiety, depression, and you don't necessarily have to share them, or you can, you know, is talking it out there and speaking it into the world and speaking its truth and going, okay, you're not going to control me anymore. I'm going to speak you out there. I'm going to put you out there and say, you know, I feel anxious when, I'm depressed because, I feel down when this. And you can see that and feel that and hear that and go, okay, now I've seen all this, what the fuck am I going to do about it? You know, and one of your 90-day goals might be like, I'm going to get off my depression medication. You know, I'm going to do better. And how am I going to do that? By incorporating these 5 daily things, by reflecting on that. And again, you look back over 90 days and you're off medication. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, 100%.
That's pretty cool.
100%.
What, so with you boys obviously using, I'm guessing you're using your own product, right?
Yeah.
Now I've seen you using
Every damn day.
every day, baby.
I'm in the gym going.
Key journal day.
Yeah.
Like, hey, everyone, look at what I'm using. And what is cool, actually, before I go into the question, is that seeing people that I know and that I work with actually using, like actually using the product, not knowing that I'm like around or anything like that, but seeing that is so fucking cool.
That's cool.
So cool. And then even people I don't know.
Yeah.
I know what that product is.
It's funny you say, like, we've sold a lot of them to our friends and stuff like that. But when we get orders that come through of people that we don't know, it's also very rewarding because they've seen it.
And not even from the coast.
Yeah, not from the coast. We've sent orders to the UK and to the US. Like, that's rewarding.
100%. I remember the first time I walked into the gym I was training at, and people using it. I was like, that's pretty fucking sick.
Yeah.
But I love that they're, you know, people are like willing and prepared to work on themselves and wanting to, you know, face maybe those internal battles that they might be having. Because I found, honestly, when I was going through my toughest period, what empowered me massively was reaffirming with myself what I am and what I'm capable of. Because when you're in a shit time, all you're going to be drawn to is those negative thoughts that you're having. But if you can start to be verbal or pen to paper about those things that you have within you that are fucking positive and things that you're capable of doing, you will be empowered. And I found that personally. So when I was writing shit down and doing like weekly reviews, like at the back end of my weeks, just in my old notebook, I was like, we need something more structured. And after that was yonks ago though.
And like the biggest thing is a lot can happen in a day, a lot can happen in a week, and a lot can happen in 90 days. Like, and having the ability to check back in on that, you actually realize, shit, I actually achieved that.
Yeah.
You can forget about things. Like, I can't remember what happened on Monday, but if I went back to my key journal, I know exactly what happened because I wrote it down.
Yeah.
Like, and it's a very rewarding thing as a person to go back and shit, look where I was.
Yeah.
And look where I am now.
Yeah.
What I love about what you guys said was first and foremost, like people supporting each other, like people supporting friends, especially. So thank you so much to people out there that have purchased this and spreading that love.
Yeah.
But also the world sort of getting together and going, hey, look, I do want to better myself, and I'm not afraid to invest in myself. And I think it's a big issue that people just want shit for free, and they're just like, hey, look, I'm in trouble. Let everyone come and help me. It's like, no. You got to be willing to help yourself. And you do that through investing in products like this and reaching out to other people, investing into online courses or face-to-face workshops when they're allowed to be sort of
back on.
Yeah. And it's only through that people will come out and potentially help you for free. You've got to be willing to do it yourself. You have to be the change that you wish to see in the world. You have to start with you first and foremost before anybody's going to want to come out and help you. You know?
And it's funny, like, this product's not for everyone because not everyone's into self-development or training, but you find that the more people that use it and are open about using something like this, those people that bagged it out at the start will be the ones that end up using it because they're caught in a rut and they need to get out of it.
100%. 100%. So I'm interested in what you boys like most about the product yourself. Like what you use it and what you find most most valuable, I guess, for yourselves.
Well, I use both of them daily. Like the key journal sets me up. So every morning I go through my morning routine, which is I'll get up, meditate, I'll have a cold shower, I'll go out and exercise, whether it be yoga, run, swim, lift some weights. Then I'll come back and I'll sit down and go through my day. I'll plan out, I'll go through my gratitude, I'll go through my priority tasks, I'll go through what I'm excited for the day. I'll schedule my day accordingly to what I have on. And then I'll read like my daily Stoic book as well, and I'll take some notes from the daily Stoic and put it in my key journal in the notes section as well. So, and then I'll use if I didn't have my journal, I wouldn't get half the things that what I do get done in a day, because I'd forget them, or I wouldn't do it. So I use it almost every hour of the day, going back to my schedule, to time blocks and stuff like that. And then when I use the Key Fitness journal, I'll sit down before I go to the gym and plan out my session. So I go in with clarity. I know what I want. I'll put the drawstring on what that session was the week before, so I know that I'm overloading, lifting heavier, or doing more sets and stuff like that. And then I'll reflect on it. So that's how I use both of them in my life. And obviously I'll use the Key as well with the reflection at nighttime, but I use them almost every hour of the day that I'm awake.
So Nick's answer is every fucking thing.
The one thing is now everything. We use
I use them.
Yeah, all right. It's a good product. I use it all the time.
Yeah.
I love that.
But that's just a breakdown of how people can use it.
Yeah.
You just don't forget it, because if you forget it, your day's over.
Yeah.
It's not over, but there's nothing that compares to having your key journal on you all the time.
Yeah. I'm going to give one from each. I think the key journal, so the daily self-development tool, the sense of organization and clarity, we did touch on this before, that I get from that is fucking phenomenal, because I get so much shit done. Having PT business, the journal that we've got now, and our men's group, I've got those three main areas of my life. So in that scheduling section at the start of the day, I'm really able to knuckle out and get a solid overview of what I have on for that day. So I'm not missing anything. Like Nick said, if I didn't start my day writing down those main things that I need to hit, and those micro things that I need to hit as well, there's probably a lot of shit that I'm going to forget. So for me, the clarity and the organization from the key journal. The fitness journal, I love how we've comprised the weekly review. I think that's probably my favorite part. I've always tracked my workouts, and for parts of my training history, I've done sections where I'll give myself like an energy rating, or like how I'm feeling at the end of the week, but nothing super structured. We now have great structure in this fitness journal. At the back end of each week, an opportunity for that person to look at what they've achieved, things that they can work on, how their energy is, how their motivation is. And what I love about it is it's a rating out of 10. So, if I hit 5 at the end of the week, right, I haven't had a fantastic week. But what I can do is look back. What have I eaten that week? How have I been training? Was my volume maybe too high? How was other life stresses like we were talking about before? And the better that I can get that towards that 10, that's where I'm feeling my best, But that's what it gives me. It gives me a really strong idea of like, if I've had a fantastic week, this is why. And let's repeat that shit.
I love that. It essentially allows you to take control over every aspect of your life. And it's interesting because I was having this conversation earlier today with a client, and we were discussing that I'm not really feeling great. This week I don't know why. Like, it's just been a crap week. I was like, tell me a little bit more about it. Like, how's everything been? Is there any big stresses? Anything at work? No. It's not really been. There was one event that happened. I was like, cool, tell me a little bit more about that. Had an argument with a family member, a really close family member. I was like, cool, what happened on the back of that? As we start to delve deep, it started to filter out that I've started to have a little bit few drinks to this week.
100%.
My nutrition's not been the best.
100%.
I was like, okay, cool. What did that result? It resulted in shitty sleep. I'm like, cool. Now we start to speak about this a little bit deeper, but it's only through connecting the dots by looking backwards,
100%.
we're able to install, okay, well, this is why I'm feeling this way. Fuck me. Now I know what to do next week.
Exactly. You're looking back and you're going, Tuesday I had this massive argument and it really rocked me. And then Wednesday, I didn't eat brekkie. Wednesday night, I had, 3 or 4 drinks. You can see this pathway of what's happening.
And it'll also, sorry to interrupt, it is help you figure out these negative associations, these behavioral patterns, these negative behavioral patterns, and going, shit, this is why I'm not getting to where I want to be. And also allows you to address those patterns, because as we know, any eating disorder, any disorder in general, is over a long enough period of time we're creating these behaviors that are broken, right? So through weekly reflection allows you to essentially break those.
Yeah,
Exactly.
100%.
And become aware of them as well.
And then from that, build strong habits. Put it up on my story the other day from this book I'm reading. 40 to 50% of... Come jump in. You've been subbed in. He's out.
Not good enough.
Oh, that's cute.
Nah.
Sorry, my girlfriend just walked in and ruined the whole show.
No, I was saying 40 to 50% of our day-to-day actions are due to habit, right? If you're creating shit habits with yourself, your days are, probably not going to be very productive. So yeah, those weekly reviews for us are essential, and it's a part that we love that's in the journal.
Yeah. So closing on. Closing on, everyone. Who is this for? So there's people listening out and saying, hey, cool, this might be for me. And obviously, yes, as much we're here to, push brand, push business, sell products, to keep giving more value to other people. We're essentially in this to give people the right people the tool, right? You know, because it may not be for everyone, as you sort of said it. It may not be for everyone, but who is this for? Who listening to this can go, you know what, that sounds like that can make a positive impact on my life. So different from both of
You
you.
got the key.
Well, the key journal is for anyone who's looking to unlock their true potential. That's the slogan behind it and stuff like that. But in saying that, it's the only journal on the market that starts at 5 o'clock in the morning. So someone that might not be into self-development might use the journal just for the scheduling side of it. So it's almost for everyone, but to use everything inside the journal, it's people that are really focused on themselves and becoming the best version of themselves. And that's quite similar to the fitness one as well, Mitchell. As you can break down.
Yeah, I think ideally we want to say it's for everyone, but with the fitness journal, I can honestly say that it's more directed around people that prioritize resistance-based training. So strength training, hypertrophy, essentially training where you're getting in the gym and you're able to track what exercise you've hit, how many sets you've hit, how many reps you've hit, so that side of things. Honestly, probably like 15 to 16-year-olds up. There's everyone up from that age could definitely use it. If we're being honest, I couldn't see people younger than 15 getting too much benefit out of it, just because it's not our demographic.
So what you basically said, and I completely agree with this, is that anyone that's into improving their life, whether it's through health, fitness, lifestyle, mindset, psychology, and wanting to self-empower themselves, could use this.
Yes, 100%.
And I agree. I completely agree, because just knowing you guys and how authentic and genuine you are, I don't think you'd ever put a product out there just to go, let's make some fucking money. You know what I mean? If you did, you'd probably put something, you'd go down a different path, But what I, drugs, cocaine, things like that.
I was thinking stripping.
Bitcoin, all these sort of things. But what I love about this is that it is adaptable to anybody as well. People that, again, you might not use it in the way that we all use it. We'll all use it in a completely different, as you said earlier, and I think we'll all use it in a completely different way. We'll use it in our way that fits our lifestyle and benefits us as well.
And you only get out what you put in.
Yes. So you can write all the shit down in the world and set up all the goals. You've still got to put the work in. You've still got to take action in order to do that.
Exactly right.
But it's your right-hand man helping you through those tougher periods, definitely.
Yeah.
And gaining clarity. Working on yourself.
So if we were to sort of finish with just 1 or 2 sentences about how you think this could impact people in a positive way, what would that be?
Good
Could
question.
be a quote, you know, or it could be just something for people that, again, trying to, I guess, almost instill the why behind the products.
The biggest thing for me is think of about who do you want to become and what can you do daily to achieve that. And I feel as though the Key Journal and the Key to Your Fitness Journal, if it was fitness related, is a great starting point for that.
Yeah, I think the journal is a great opportunity for people to empower themselves beyond anything that they've had before. I've had that response from it, so I'm going with that.
I like it. I think that's a great way to finish. Guys, so where can we find out more about the Key Journal, and where can people go to purchase, check it out?
Yeah, so our website's thekeyjournal.com. We can be found on Instagram at thekeyjournal_ and Facebook at the Key Journal. So that's where we're at. Our Instagram, we put out motivational quotes. We put a little bit about the product and some hints and tips and stuff like that. So it's not all just so salesy. We try and give value as well to our followers. And yeah, the website, you'll find some testimonials from people that have used it as well. So if you're not quite sure if it's for you, you can have a look at what people have said about it and how it helped them. So yeah, that's where you can find us. But
Beautiful. And for the Abby Can Show listeners, we have a discount code.
Boom.
boom.
Am I plugging it?
Yeah, you're plugging it.
All right. If you would like a discount code on the Key Journal. Sorry, I couldn't.
It's great. It's great. You need to be a radio announcer.
No, but seriously, if you are looking to get your hands on a journal, you can use the code ABI10. That's ABI, not ABY. So ABI10. We would be super appreciative of it, and yeah, obviously thank you for the support.
And for all you guys that have followed the show for a while and know and love and trust anything that I say, I hope you do by now. I highly recommend the product myself. I think that it's going to really help you unlock your true potential and help you level up this year. Obviously, last year was a big, shitty year for a lot of people. And this year, let's get back on track. Let's focus on what can we do in our own lives? How do we take action in our own lives to instill progress, to make ourselves a better version of ourselves? All the links will be in the show notes below, as always, on YouTube and through whatever listening device you are listening to. It's Apple, Spotify, etc. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you very much.
Appreciate you guys taking the time to listen as well.
Yeah, good
And
stuff.
now back to the casting couch. Peace!
Boom.
If you want to optimize your health, fitness, and lifestyle and learn the tools and the tricks and the knowledge to be able to sustain a healthy and fit lifestyle, then please go check out my books on my website. As a loyal subscriber, you get a cheeky little discount. So I'll see you in there.